It's time to down tools for a bit. Welcome to the Tool Shed, the influential podcast for anyone and everyone involved in the building industry. Here's your host, Mick Hawes.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of the Tool Shed podcast. Again, just to remind those people, if this is their first time, the purpose of this podcast is really to make the life of the builder easier if we can. So we're always looking for people and platforms and resources and philosophies and services that can help make the builder's life much easier. Today, I'm talking to Matt Perrott from BuildPass, and it's all about site management and quality assurance and all sorts of really cool stuff that make running a building site far more effective, take a whole lot of unnecessary actions off your plate, which always sounds like a good thing. So I'd like to welcome Matt to the podcast. How are you and where do we find you? I know before I press the record button, you said it was 40 degrees. So you're not down here with us in Tasmania, that's for sure. Although it's quite warm today.
Not in Tassie, but I am close. So I'm in Melbourne, and we just had a bit of a heat wave today. So we're all working from home. And like I also said, I've got my 7-month-old in the room next to me. So if there's any squealing in the background, I apologise in advance.
It was funny. We had one of our weekly get-togethers with our Builders Business Black Belt members, and somebody was talking about pouring concrete. And it was hot or what have you. And one of our members from Kalgoorlie said, we start thinking about it when it's 50 degrees, not like you powder puffs over on the East Coast. So I just reminded me of that when you said it's 40 degrees and I'm working from home. He'd be going, no. Pretty funny. So
exactly.
BuildPass, I want to hear all about BuildPass, but the way I like to roll is to learn more about you and your backstory and sort of what led you to be part of BuildPass, and what was your experience, what issues, what problems did you see in your experience that caused you to sort of move in this direction?
Sure. So I basically have a lot of mates who work in construction, and it sounds like a cliche, but it was just lots of conversations at the pub complaining about the tools they were using out on site, the amount of paper, the amount of different apps they were using that didn't talk to each other. And I sort of just got sick of the complaints and said, guys, I work in software, let's do something about this. So I've always had an interest in the construction space. I was studying civil engineering before I went into software. I've laboured on construction sites. I've always liked construction, but really where my experience is professionally is in tech, is in software. And so when we saw how the industry was operating out on site, especially on smaller sites, so the tier one builders have lots of great tools they're using to run their sites. But what we noticed on smaller construction sites, both residential and commercial, was there wasn't many good tools to run all of your site operations in one. And so that's what we've been solving for. Yeah.
So going back to the pub, which would be probably a good place to be today if you're suffering from heat stroke, what were some of the specific conversations? So I'm just trying to get a sense so that the listener goes, I have that issue, and I have that experience. What were some of the specific problems the guys around the bar were talking about that were frustrating them or causing them grief?
So defects is a big one. And just talking about the amount of defects that happen on a construction site, how annoying it is to pick up the defect, take a photo of it, save it to your phone, write up in a Word document all of the photos, send them out to the trade, book them in to come back. It's just a really time-consuming process that no one likes. Yep. No one likes defects. That was one of the ones that we thought was happening in a bit of an archaic way. Safety out on site, paper-based induction forms, taking photos of white cards, getting these paper-based swims out of the console of the ute and trying to find the signatures on them. Just really backwards things. Even having all the plans out on site, big A3 plans on site. Trades get there, they're out of date, they haven't been updated, they're building to the wrong spec. So just the amount of paper, the amount of things that get lost in email, the amount of things that were happening in Word documents and spreadsheets that aren't updated, that aren't live, that was, I think, really the pain points we were seeing.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. We're always trying to bring you information that's going to make your life as a builder much easier. So give us a thumbs up and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode. Yeah. I'm just, cruising around on the website. There's a couple of different areas. Obviously, site management, health and safety. You were just talking about swims, etc. Managing the assets on site, quality assurance, which I guess is the defects and so on. But you also have an AI toolkit, and that seems to be the word on everybody's lips at the moment. How we can use AI. There's some marketers out there saying that any builder that doesn't use AI in the next 5 minutes is going to go broke, and trying to scare them into using AI. It's a great tool when you can wrap your head around it, and it seems to be getting easier and easier. How specifically is AI used in BuildPass in your AI toolkit?
And I'll get to that in a second. I want to sort of talk about the whole AI craze first, cool. And how we think about it. So obviously AI has been around for a long time. It exists everywhere around us. In apps that we've been using for years, AI is actually behind that. If you punch in an address to get to work in the morning and Google tells you there's traffic, there's machine learning algorithms that are learning from all of the data that's out there. So it has been everywhere, and it shouldn't be a scary thing to talk about. The reason that it's gotten so popular recently is because some of the updates to the technology, obviously, but it's because how the consumers are now interacting with it directly. So the big one, the big household name is ChatGPT. Everyone's heard of it. Everyone's probably used it and is wondering how I can use ChatGPT to help my business. So that's why we've seen a real adoption and interest in AI. Now, when AI first became popular, we were already doing some in the platform. And I said to my team, there is no one's to mention AI in marketing at all, because we don't want to scare people away. We don't want to be an AI business. Let's just use it to deliver a great experience, to deliver value for our customers, and let's not advertise it. Now, that all changed though when ChatGPT came out, and our customers started asking us, they said, how can we use AI in our business? Is BuildPass going to do AI? That's when we flipped and said, maybe it actually is the right time to start advertising the things that we're doing with AI and how we can help people's businesses. So that's just a bit of context there.
Yeah.
What we specifically try to do in our platform is we look at the really cumbersome processes. So we measure the time that our builders are spending on certain things, and we say, okay, this part of the platform is taking a long time. How can we use AI to speed that up? Because no one likes using software for too long. A lot of software companies will measure how long someone spends in their app. Like Facebook wants you to spend more time in their app, Instagram more time in their app. We don't care about that. We want you to spend less time in our app. So if we can use AI to take some of the processes that were taking a long time, like for example, snapping a photo of a defect and sending it out, if we can do that with AI instead, that's a win. And so that's how we think about building AI into our platform. And there's lots of features that use AI now. Voice to text mode, on-site diaries and timesheets. We can get insights from all your photos. So rather than having to go back and try find that photo that happened 6 months ago, you just search it, you can find it. You can build things on the fly. If you don't have a checklist for a certain scaffold inspection, you can just ask AI to generate it for you. It goes into the form builder. I could go on and on and on, but we're really trying to look at the things that people don't like doing and seeing if there's a way that AI can make that faster so you can get back to building.
Yeah. Which kind of brings me to the next question about communication and back and forth for support, but also learning from your customers or prospects. How does that work with BuildPass? What sort of interaction and continual learning are you getting, and how do you do it from the people that are using your platform?
Yeah, so we have a 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. local support team. It's available on the phone and on live chat. And we encourage people to message us. Even if they've forgotten how to do something or what the button is, we encourage them to message us or give us a call, because like you've just alluded to, we learn from that as well. So we want to provide a great service to our customers, but the more interaction we have with our customers, the more we can learn, the more we can build the right things and not just the next thing that pops into our head. So we are learning from that. All of the pieces of feedback, all the problems, and bugs. Of course, we have bugs. Everyone has bugs in the software. We learn from all of that. It goes into a database, and we can, again, use things like AI to help analyze that and say, this is the area we need to be focusing on. This is what our customers really want. And even for things like feature requests, we hear it from our support teams, our customer success teams, our sales teams. Something like a scheduling tool, for example, is something we've thought about doing for ages, and we've just got enough data out there now that says people really, really want a better way of doing their look-ahead schedules, and so now we're building that. So, working really closely with our customers, and we do love, even though we've got a lot of smaller customers and we can't service everyone face-to-face, we still like getting out on-site and chatting with our customers, with our users, and people who are using our product. We think that face-to-face interaction is really important, even if we can't do it with absolutely everyone.
Yeah. Now, I realise that BuildPass isn't builder's software per se, like to do takeoffs and quotes and all of that sort of stuff. But I'm just using that as an example of many conversations that I've had with builders who are using a certain platform, and then they've spoken to another builder or what have you, that they've seen another platform and they go, that's exactly what I need. It's going to save me this. It's going to do this. It's going to be wonderful. And then they go over to that platform and realize that they've got to learn, how to fly a new plane now. So I just want to get a bit of a sense as to the new person that goes, right, this sounds like something that I need for my business. What's their experience going to be like from the very first contact of moving through to starting to be able to use the platform effectively?
So we're very flexible in the sense that we get some people come to us and say, I just want to try it out myself. I don't want you to tell me anything. I just want to get in there and figure it out myself.
Yeah.
And we've got an option to do that. But that's usually a small percentage of people. Most people, they do want training sessions. They want resources that show them how to get started. They want to take it bit by bit and not just be overloaded with information of every single thing the platform can do at the start. So we've got a great customer success team who does all the training and onboarding. Typically what it looks like is, as part of the sales process, we make sure the platform's actually going to work for you. So our sales guys are really good at going, if our product isn't a perfect fit, we want to let you know up front, because it's not good for us to have people who don't get 100% out of the platform. But then as part of the onboarding, we will look at all of your current processes. We can load a whole system in. If you've got it, all of your resources and documents, we can configure the platform for you, or we can provide some of our industry standard templates. And then we'll do training sessions, and that's ongoing as well. So the training is there, the live chat is there. And because we have seen people who have kind of been burned by software companies, especially when they're not local. And, you get sold the dream and you get in there, the support's not there, you haven't been trained, you've got to learn how to do it yourself. And we really want to avoid that.
Yeah. I guess the process to get involved, what's the first step, if you like? How do the people reach out to you, and what can they kind of expect in those early conversations or contacts with your business?
Yeah, so the best way is the website. We've got a local team that is looking for anyone who reaches out in the inquiry form on the website, or you can give us a call. Our number's on there as well. But yeah, just jumping on buildpass.ai. From there, one of our local team members will give you a call, see what your business does, make sure it could be a fit. From there, it'd be a demo of the platform. We want to make sure that, again, you've seen everything, you know what you're getting in for before you put any money down. And then, yeah, like I said before, we've got our customer success team that would take over from there.
I'm Mick Hawes from Builder's Business Black Belt. There's one roadblock in your business that, when identified and fixed, a whole bunch of other frustrating problems will disappear at the same time. So much time, effort, and money is thrown at problems in an attempt to fix them that often doesn't fix the problem and just leads to more frustration. And if this cycle continues, it increases stress and just makes running your own business an unenjoyable pain in the ass. And it doesn't have to be that way. being a business owner can give you more time and financial freedom, and it can be super rewarding if you do it right. The key is to find your unique roadblock, which you're often too close to the action to see yourself. How do I know this? I've been working in peak performance and business coaching for over 3 decades, and with builders specifically for over 10 years, and I see it every day. So I encourage you to take the Builder's Success Scorecard right now. The link to take the scorecard is in the description. It's free. It'll take you about 90 seconds, and you'll have some quality feedback in your inbox before you know it. Yeah. Any integrations? I know one of the things you said right at the very start, one of the problems is that builders have an app to do this and a spreadsheet to do that, and they've got to try and all get them to talk to each other, and it ends up just being a dog's breakfast. So you've created something that has everything internally fundamentally, but I'm just wondering, is there any integrations? Does BuildPass talk to any other potential platforms that a builder might be using?
Yes, we've just started doing that. We wanted to focus initially on getting the platform feature complete, really do all of the operations of a construction site before we focus too much on integrations. We've done our first one with Procore, so some of our commercial clients will be using Procore for the back office and their project management, and then BuildPass for all of their site management. We are about to release an integration with BuildExact. Again, similar setup for our residential clients, using BuildExact for the takeoffs, estimating, maybe their scheduling and their client management, and then BuildPass for their site operations again. And then we've got a bunch that we'll be doing in 2025. So the big ones are accounting platforms. We have a timesheeting module, so we'll be connecting to MyOb and Xero. And then we've got a couple of other exciting financial integrations coming out as well. One of them being Stick, STYCK. If you haven't heard of it, it's a great platform. And so that's more for sort of resi and smaller commercial builders. And then Jonas Premier as well is a great partner of ours that we'll be integrating with more for your sort of mid-tier commercial contractors.
Yeah, excellent. I noticed that there's testimonials or case studies on the website, and I think it's always really worthwhile to give examples of the difference something like this makes to a builder's life. At the end of the day, that's what we're here to do. And sometimes sort of when we get a little bit too much into the weeds with the technical things and what it does and how it works and all of that sort of stuff is fine for some people, but other people might glaze over a little bit of it. But from a story point of view, what are some of the stories? Because you said you made this for mates essentially, so obviously you can see the journey of some of the customers that have started to use BuildPass. What have you seen that it does for them? What was the problems that they were experiencing prior? Now they've learned to use BuildPass, and it's been integrated into how they do things business-wise. What are the benefits that they are experiencing now because they've using the BuildPass platform?
I think it's worth covering both ways that we sell the benefits of our platform.
Yep.
And there's 2 ways we think about it. One is maximizing the upside, so making you more efficient, building better, faster, getting your home earlier. And so that's one element that I'll talk to. But the other element is minimizing the downside risk of your business. And that's where a lot of the compliance elements come in. We find that a lot, especially of residential builders, don't realize how much is at stake from a safety perspective and what the OHS regulations mean for directors of a business. And so I might start with that and just talk to, not specific examples, but anecdotally what we've heard from some of our residential clients.
We want specific examples, names and addresses and phone
Builder
numbers.
names? Yeah. Maybe we'll share that after this. We won't do that. But more on the down safety system basically at all, or are unaware of what their obligations are. They're not doing inductions on site. They're not collecting swims from everyone. They're not checking that everyone's got white cards. And it's really scary because You don't have to be running a big site for something tragic to happen. Someone can fall off a roof, and heaven forbid it doesn't happen on your site. If they're up there more than 2 meters and they fall off and something terrible happens, if you don't have all of your ducks in a row, they haven't been inducted, they haven't got signed swims, they haven't got a white card, you don't have that recorded, even if you were running the safest site in the whole of Australia, you can still end up in jail for manslaughter, which is really scary to think, and a lot of people don't even know this. So a lot of what we try and do with our system is keep it really simple, give you a playbook to follow, such that if you just do what the system says and you're aware of what your obligations are on a construction site, you're at least going to cover those boxes, such that if something, heaven forbid, happens on your site, you've covered those boxes. So that's what we do on the minimizing the downside risk. On the upside, and this is a bit more fun to talk about, is things like just the engagement that we see from the subcontractors and how quick it is to go and do an induction now. How easy it is to do your site diary at the end of the day. You used to snap some photos, you talk to the phone, you say what you did. You can even you can talk to the phone while you're on the way home. So the defect management process, we hear so many stories of, I used to hate doing defects because it was just such a pain to do. But now you literally walk around site, you talk to the phone, you say what the defect is, you snap a photo, the phone automatically picks up which subcontractor needs to do it. It builds the defect list, it sends them out to them, they can respond to it. It's just automating a lot of these things that really no one wants to do. So anyway, that's how we think about it. It's maximizing the upside and making you more efficient and more profitable, winning more work because you've got more jobs on. You've got less labor than needed to manage your jobs. And then on the downside, you make sure you're not going to get into a pickle that could be a really terrible scenario.
Yep. Yeah, it's pretty important to have conversations about that sort of stuff. It never seems to come to the front of people's minds until it's happened. And, I know a number of builders that have had to put up with something like that. Nothing that they did wrong effectively, but they just didn't have the right boxes ticked, and it cost them dearly, and maybe financially, but the big cost was emotionally, and if there are ways to avoid this, we really should look at it. So this has been a fascinating conversation. I love learning about this stuff. I love meeting people like yourself who are, I guess, motivated to create something where they can see a problem and people, in my world, experiencing unnecessary pain and creating a solution for it. So it's absolutely fascinating. I hope people reach out to you and have conversations and find out whether BuildPass can help them with your business, but with your business, Freudian slip, with their business. So, thanks so much for putting the time aside and sharing your BuildPass story. It's been terrific. Yeah. So that's it for this episode. And I really encourage you to reach out. We'll put the website in the description. It's buildpass.ai. Jump on the website, have a cruise around, and learn about all the different ways and the different places in your business that you can apply this. And that sure sounded like a worthwhile reason to me to check this out, to get a whole bunch of things like just that defect example off your plate, walking around talking to your phone and then having everything else done automatically sounds like a much better experience than the traditional analog way of doing it. So just for that fact, I'd be reaching out and having the conversation. But there would be tons of other benefits that you and your business could experience by having something like BuildPass in your corner. So reach out and have that conversation. I hope you found this conversation valuable. We'll be back with another episode of the Toolshed podcast before you know it. I'm Mick Hawes from Builders Business Black Belt. That is all. I'm out. Bye for now.
You've been listening to the Toolshed. If this podcast struck a chord with you, make sure you spread the word by sharing it with your mates in the building industry. We love your help to make the building industry better for everyone involved.